Caritamrta Adi-lila. So today is Tuesday, 20th of May, 2025, and we're live streaming today from Radha Kund, close by the Bhajan Kutia of Srila Krishna's Kaviraj. Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tara Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Caitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Jina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Priya Sarupe, Daita Sarupe, Prema Sarupe, Sahaj Virupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhueka Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swavilasa Rupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat, Karanavartinokalo, Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swa Bhakti Shriyam, Haripurata Sundarata Tikatam Basatipita, Sada Hridare Kandare Spuratu Vasachinandanaha. Yam pravajantam anapetyam apetykrityam dvaipaino viraha katara ajuhava putreti tam matayo tarivo vinedustam sarvabhutam hridim munimanatoshmi bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay shiptascha karmaditarangamadye kripamai tvam sharanam prapanam Prinde namaste charanarvindam Bhajami radham aravinda netram Smarami radham madhurashmitasyam Vadami radham karuna varadram Tato mamanasti katina kapi Tavai vasmi najivami tvai vina Iti vignaya radhe tvam naimam charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Adi-lila Pravishta Om Astok Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again, millions and millions of times, unto the lotus feet of our dearmost Adi-lila Pravishta Om Astok Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And I'm also offering millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of our dearmost Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Pad, and all our illustrious Rupanuga, Guru Varga, and all the Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to everyone. Vanshakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhuvevacha, Patitanam Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. So, yesterday, principally, we discussed Shri Radhika, Shakti Tattva. We scrolled through the significance of the Sandini Shakti, the Sangvit Shakti, and the Hladini Shakti as being the aspect of Swarup Shakti, and all these Shaktis having their specific functions and purposes, etc. Sandini is that existence that manifests that existence of all the living entities in the spiritual worlds and in the material worlds. The Sangvit was the cognitive understanding, energy, comprehensive energy. And the Hladini Shakti is the pleasure-giving potency. So these were very much clarified by Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami. Yesterday we were discussing that. So now today we've come to an even more confidential reason, internal reason, for the advent of Sachinandan Gaurahari. So this is where we've come to. We've come to verse 101. And Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is taking us very systematically into such a significantly deep appreciation of the identity of Sachinandan Gaurahari. Can you just tell me if Facebook is getting sound? Can somebody tell me there on YouTube? If Facebook is operating okay with sound, volume. Alita Saki, are you getting sound there on Facebook? Okay. So, no comment yet.
Okay. So, text 101.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shasta Slokera Artha Karite Prakash Pratame Kariye Se Slokere Abash.
To explain the 6th verse, I shall first give a hint of its meaning. Text 102.
Avatari Prabhu Pracharila Sankirtan Eho Baya Heto Purve Kariache Suchan.
The Lord came to propagate Sankirtan. That is an external purpose, as I have already indicated. The gift of that Hare Krishna mantra is considered an external reason for Mahaprabhu's advent, as well as the calling of Advaita Acharya. But the primary reasons are being given in this 4th chapter, the confidential reasons.
Avatar Ara Eka Arche Mulkya Bij Rasika Sekara Krishna Se Karyanish.
There is a principal cause for Lord Krishna's appearance. It grows from its own engagements as the foremost enjoyer of loving exchanges. We're going to understand how the Lord conducts his life and the loving exchanges between his parakas and what he has intended to taste himself. And he's going to give service to what he's tasting himself. You have to be very attentive to this. It's very deep presentation here today. Text 104.
Atikuda Heto Se Trivida Prikara Damodara Swarup Haite Yahara Prachara.
Translation. That most confidential cause is threefold. Swarup Damodar has revealed it. 105. Swarupa Gosani Prabhu Ati Antaranga Tahate Janena Prabhu E Sabha Prasanga. Translation. Swarup Goswami is the most intimate associate of the Lord. He therefore knows all these topics well. He's the most intimate associate. Swarup Damodar is none other than Lalita Sakhi. We're going to discuss this in a minute. So now we have the purport to text 105. Prior to the Lord's acceptance of the renounced order, Purushottam Bhattacharya, a resident of Navadvip, desired to enter the renounced order of life. Therefore he left home and went to Benares, where he had accepted the position of brahmacharya from a Mayavadi sannyasi. When he became a brahmachari, he was given the name Sri Damodar Swarup. He left Benares shortly thereafter without taking sannyas, and he came to Nilachal Jagannath Puri, where Lord Chaitanya was staying. He met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there and dedicated his life for the service of the Lord. He came after Mahaprabhu had renounced this world in Navadvip. Mahaprabhu comes to Puri, and then straight away he begins his South Indian tour for about 2.5 years. And then he goes, and when he comes back to Puri after that, this is when Swarup Damodar comes to join Mahaprabhu at that time, after he had performed his South Indian Leela. He became Lord Chaitanya's secretary and constant companion. He used to enhance the pleasure potency of the Lord by singing appropriate songs, which were very much appreciated. Swarup Damodar could understand the secret mission of Lord Chaitanya, and it was by his grace only that all the devotees of the Lord Chaitanya could know the real purpose of the Lord. These verses, the 5th verse and the 6th verse, in the beginning here, this Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Hladini Shakti Asmat and Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima, both of these verses are composed by Swarup Damodar, and they contain the very seeds of the essence of the purpose of Mahaprabhu's mission and his intention and what he wanted to taste and experience. Particularly this verse we're going to discuss now. Swarupa Damodar has been identified as Lalita Devi, the second expansion of Radha. So that's the principal understanding. Now this next part, I think we should just ignore because it can be confusing. It's saying, however, text 160 of Kavi Kanpur's authoritative Gaura Ganadesh Deepika describes Swarupa Damodar as the same Vishaka Devi who serves the Lord in Golok Vrindavan. This is not a fact at all. Perhaps this is a mistake on the part of the editors at the time of Kavi Kanpur, but there should be never any doubt that Swarupa Damodar is that Lalita Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi has particular characteristics and qualities that we perceive when we hear about Swarupa Damodar. Swarupa Damodar, Lalita Sakhi is very forthright, she's very bold. She's called Apekshika Pragalbita. In Krishna's pastimes, she can chastise Krishna as well as Radhika. She's 27 days older than Radhika, so she has a seniority position, and Krishna always accepts her words. Vishaka, on the other hand, is much more, we can say, she's Mridvi or Madhya. These two combine, this soft mood. Shri Radhika herself is Adyantika Madhya, which means a mixture of Pragalpa and Mridvi. Mridvi is soft, Pragalpa is harsher, and Madhya is in the middle. Vishaka is born at exactly the same moment as Shri Radhika. So Vishaka has this softness about her that Lalita or Swarupa Damodar doesn't have in the same quantity. Therefore, Vishaka was that perfect personality for Mahaprabhu to hear the revelations of Sakhi Bhav from in the Godavari, in the Rai Ramananda Samvad. Vishaka is Rai Ramananda. So in that Rai Ramananda Samvad, this is Vishaka Devi is bringing that Sakhi mood out of Mahaprabhu. Because prior to Mahaprabhu going to the Godavari and hearing that Sakhi Bhav was principally in potential within his heart. When he's in Navadvip, he's tasting this Mahabhav, Mahaprabhu, the same Mahabhav that Krishna experienced in Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is Gupta Vrindavan. No, Navadvip, sorry, is Gupta Vrindavan. So those same moods are experienced in Navadvip, in the Sankirtan Ras. And those moods were of Mahabhav. Those higher moods that he wants to taste now that we're going to discuss, that Adi-rudha and Rudha and Adi-rudha Mahabhav are 2 stages higher that we've discussed before. And this is what Mahaprabhu is anxious to taste. But he'll only taste them in the mood of separation, Mohan and Modan. There's no union. We're going to discuss that shortly. Therefore, it is understood that Sri Swarup Damodar is a direct expansion of Radharani, who helps the Lord experience the attitude of Radharani. Yes, Lalita Sakhi is the first manifestation of the Kaya Vyuha from Radhika. So she's always with Mahaprabhu, Lalita Sakhi, Swarup Damodar. Text 106.
Radhikara Bhavar Murti Prabhurantara Se Bhave Sukha Dukkha Ute Nirantara.
Translation. The heart of Lord Chaitanya is the image of Radhika's emotions. Thus, feelings of pleasure and pain arise constantly therein, this meeting and separation. Perhaps to appreciate this separation mood, the extent of that separation mood, if Rasamanjari is there, she can post the article that we've just typed up from the Ananda Vrindavan Champu, describing the extraordinary nature of this separation mood in very graphic details that Kavi Kanpur describes. Really astonishing. So she can post that now. It'll be quite relevant to hear at this point. So purport. Lord Chaitanya's heart was full of the feelings of Srimati Radharani. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, but he's full of the feelings of Sri Radhika, and his appearance resembled hers. He takes her bhav and kanti. The bhav are the essential characteristics and qualities of a person. So he's taken that from Radhika, and he's taken her kanti, which is her complexion, the golden complexion. Swarup Damodar has explained his attitude as Radha Bhav Murti. Murti is like a takoji. This Radha Bhav, the nature of Mahaprabhu is fully Radha Bhav. He's Krishna himself, but he's fully immersed in Radha Bhav. The attitude of Radharani. He's fully immersed in that attitude of Radharani. One who engages in sense gratification on the material platform can hardly understand Radha Bhav. Our minds will become too distracted to significantly go deep enough, for long enough, to appreciate this remarkable phenomena that the Lord is going to immerse himself in the ashraya, in the qualities of Radhika, in the bhav of Radhika, fully. Just like today, we see Mahaprabhu sitting here in Radha Kund, and he's sitting facing Shama Kund, because he's immersed in a mood of Radha, appreciating Sham. That's why he's facing Shama Kund. He's not facing Radha Kund. He's not in a mood of Krishna. He's completely in a mood of, he's desiring Krishna. That's why he's facing Shama Kund. One who engages in sense gratification on the material platform can hardly understand Radha Bhav. But one who is freed from the demands of sense gratification can understand it, because his thought process will have the time frame to contemplate this topic longer. If we're so engrossed in the material energy, our minds will be jumping constantly. They won't be steady enough to plumb the depths of this teaching. So this consideration should be there and give us inspiration to steady our minds on the focus of Radha and Krishna's pastimes. Actually, this is the only thing that's going to steady the mind, because this is in the nature of the spiritual realm, of the Antaranga Shakti. And only by that focus can we come out of this Bahiranga Shakti, this lower mode. If we're trying to steady the mind by some mechanical process of the material world, it's still going to be material. But only when the consciousness is focused on these spiritual topics will we begin to be able to steady it and to go deeper within those spiritual topics, as we're going to describe now today. Radha Bhav must be understood from the Goswamis, all the Goswamis' literature, because they're directly revealing what is Mahaprabhu's heart. Those who are actually controllers of the senses, a Goswami is one who can control his senses. Varsho Vegam, Manasa Krota Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Pasta Vegam, Etan Yoga, Yovisha Dira, Sadavam Apiman, Yana Shishyate. This verse, first verse of Upadeshamrita. From such authorized sources, it can be known that the attitude of Srimati Radharani is the highest perfection of conjugal love. Radharani's attitude towards Krishna is the highest perfection of conjugal love. Mahaprabhu has the mood of Radharani, but he is Krishna. Understand that point. Which is the highest of the 5 transcendental mellows, and it is the complete perfection of love of Krishna. In the mood of Radha, he's in a mood of separation. His whole renounced lila is one of Vipralamba Bhav. We'll discuss more in a minute. These transcendental affairs can be understood on 2 platforms. One is called elevated, and the other is called super elevated. The loving affairs exhibited in Dwarka are the elevated form. The super elevated position is reached in the manifestations of the pastimes of Vrindavan. The attitude of Lord Chaitanya is certainly super elevated. Mahaprabhu is dwelling only on Brajaras, Braja Prem. He's come to gift the jivas as a secondary reason. His first reason is to taste this prem, the fulfillment of these three desires, which we'll discuss in a minute. But this is his intention, to taste this prem. But he will taste this prem in separation mood, not in meeting mood. That we're going to discuss today. From the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, an intelligent person engaged in pure devotional service can understand that he always felt separation from Krishna within himself. This is exactly as my Gurudev describes, that practically in the renounced order, Mahaprabhu never, maybe for a few moments, has darshan directly of Brajendanandan Shyam Sundar alone. There's a description later on in the Ballabha Bhatta, Jagannath Ballabha Gardens, where he sensed the fragrance of Krishna. And he sees Krishna for a moment. But he is Krishna himself, but he's seeing Krishna. Mahaprabhu's intention is to witness ultimately the conjugal relationship between Radha and Krishna. Mahaprabhu himself doesn't engage in any conjugal relationship. He observes the conjugal relationship and feels great separation in service to that. This is what we're going to discuss. In that separation from Krishna, he is Krishna, but in separation from Krishna in the mood of Radha, he sometimes felt that he found Krishna once or twice only. It's very seldom that he found Krishna. And he finds Krishna with Radha. There's the beautiful description, of course, when he breaks out of the Gambhira through those three locked doors, because he hears the sound of Krishna's flute. And he crosses those three high walls, and the devotees, they find him later in the Goshala, and the cows are not wanting to give up his body. They're licking his body. He's become like a tortoise. He's foaming at the mouth. His eyes are rolling. All his limbs have contracted into his body. But when he comes out of this state, what does he describe? He describes that he came to the Kunj of Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna were in the Kunj together, and he was in a mood of service to Radha and Krishna, like a Saki or like a Gopi rather, or like a Manjari. Because we also have another pastime where he's watching the Jal Krida pastime, the water pastimes. And there he's also acting like a Manjari, because Mahaprabhu has come to bestow Manjari Bhav. So unless he experiences it himself, how can he bestow it? He hasn't come to bestow Sakhi Bhav. Although most of this Leela, he is in Sakhi Bhav as the mood of Radha. But he's also tasting periodically. We even have a painting of Mahaprabhu standing holding the clothes of the gopis while they're all bathing with Radha and Krishna in the Jamuna. And he's acting like a Manjari, tasting himself the mood of service to Sri Radhika as a Manjari. But he is, in fact, Krishna. This is very complex, and just like Prabhupada said previously in this same purport, we cannot comprehend these pastimes without a very clear lifestyle where we're gradually extricating ourselves fully from any type of indulgence in sensual pleasures and so on. The two are not compatible. If I'm indulging in sensual pleasures of the body, how am I going to balance my consciousness to go into the depths of the spiritual contemplation? I simply won't be able to do it physically. Materially, it won't be possible. I must be pushing that state of consciousness by continued, careful attention to my sadhan bhajan. That must be a priority if we want to understand these topics. If we're just hearing them like in an armchair and just vaguely listening, we probably won't understand very much. But as we go deeper into them, they become so fascinating, so euphoric, that the devotees will feel inspired to spend more time in the land of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's descriptions than anywhere else in the world, than putting their minds anywhere else. In the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, an intelligent person engaged in pure devotional service can understand that he always felt separation from Krishna within himself. Krishna as he was Radha. He was in the mood of Radha, feeling separation from Krishna, and was enjoying the meeting. He wasn't enjoying any conjugal relationship with Radha or Krishna. He is Krishna, so how can he enjoy a conjugal relationship with Krishna? He's in a mood of Radha, so how could he enjoy a conjugal relationship with Radha? Because he's Krishna himself. But he's serving Radha and Krishna combined. As he described himself, how he himself comes into the Kunj in his highest extreme state in the Gambhira through his bhajan. He's demonstrating through his bhajan. He's the bhajan Shiksha Guru. He's describing if we want to go into the Kunj of Radha and Krishna, one must perform bhajan day and night in the way that Mahaprabhu, he performed that bhajan. And then he comes into the Kunj, but he's witnessing Radha and Krishna. He's describing, he hears their ankle bells tinkling. He sees the beautiful forms of Radha and Krishna. But there's no conjugal relationship there from Mahaprabhu's side. How could there be? He's Krishna himself. How could he have a conjugal relationship with Krishna? He's already Krishna. And how could he have a conjugal relationship with Radha when actually he's completely immersed in the mood of Radha? To all intents and purposes, he is Radha. So how could he have a conjugal relationship with either? This is what's going to be explained. The significance of this separation and meeting is very specific. Yes, separation and meeting is very specific, because without the separation, there can be no union. The separation nourishes the union between Radha and Krishna. But we as sadhaks are always in a mood of separation, hankering for, desirous of that momentary glimpse of Radha and Krishna's pastimes to serve that Unnata Ujjvala Ras. Mahaprabhu also. If someone tries to understand the exalted position of Lord Chaitanya without knowing this, he is surely to misunderstand it. Yeah, understand what I've just said about Mahaprabhu's identity. There's no conjugal ras for Mahaprabhu at all. Not at all, it's saying in the next sentence. One must first become fully realized. Otherwise, one may misidentify the Lord as Nagara. That means hero, enjoying either Krishna or Radha. But I've just explained how is that possible when he's already Krishna and he's already Radha. He's become one, Ekatmanav. So how could he enjoy either of them directly? Impossible. Mahaprabhu is come to taste the affection between Radha and Krishna. He's just astonished at the love between Radha and Krishna, because this is what he wants to taste. He wants to taste this love between Radha and Krishna. This is what will be explained further on. By my saying this now, the next few verses should be easier for us all to understand. I hope it's very clear what I'm explaining, what I'm saying. One must first become fully self-realized, otherwise one may misidentify the Lord as Nagara, or the enjoyer of the damsels of Braj. Mahaprabhu doesn't enjoy the damsels of Braj. He's a Sakhi himself. To all intents and purposes, he's Radha Bha. How would he enjoy the damsels of Braj? That would be absurd. Thus committing the mistake of rasa bas, or overlapping understanding. It's a very subtle point, actually. But Mahaprabhu is not enjoying any of the gopis. He's enjoying Gopi Bhav, the mood of the gopis, in the form of Radha Bhav. Fully he's diving into that mood of Radha Bhav in attraction towards Krishna. It's achintya. But it's conceivable for us to appreciate if we are steady in our practices and absorption. Text 107.
Shesha Lilaya Prabhu Krishna Viharam Unmad
Brahmaya Chesta Ara Pralapa Mayavad. In the final portion of his pastimes, Lord Chaitanya was obsessed with the madness of separation from Lord Krishna. Yes, my Gurudev explains categorically that practically Mahaprabhu never meets Krishna. Maybe a couple of times momentarily, like I've just described. But practically his whole mood and bhav is vipralamba bhav. He's tasting this mood of separation, this mohan and modan, these moods which have the same pinnacle and pitch as meeting, as madan akya or mohan akya. They're the two, meeting and separation. In separation there is the same pinnacle of bliss as there is in meeting. My Gurudev used to say, which is higher? Meeting is the pinnacle and separation is the topmost. So understanding both of these, and we can understand it even clinically, so to speak. I've explained many times how these Astasatvika bhavs, what they produce, these blazing Astasatvika bhavs are there in separation and in meeting. And they both emit the same potency of bliss in meeting and separation. But the meeting in Apricot Lila, or even Boma Vrindavan Lila, in Vrindavan Lila itself, they will result in meeting. And then that Madanakya Mahabhav will flourish. But then again, there will be separation. But in the form of Mahaprabhu, these two are manifesting simultaneously practically. Although most of the time, it's manifesting in a separation mood because there's no conjugal relationship. How can Mahaprabhu have any sort of conjugal relationship? This is why these Gaura Nagaris and different groups like this are so out of touch with what is the reality. Everyone in Mahaprabhu's, all of his parakars are in a mood of dasya ras. Gadadha, Radharani directly, is in dasya ras. All are in this mood. Dakshin Bhav, dasya ras. The final portion of his pastimes, Lord Chaitanya was obsessed with the madness of separation from Lord Krishna. He acted in erroneous ways and talked deliriously because it's a state of unmad, madness. Lord Sri Chaitanya exhibited the highest stage of the feelings of a devotee in separation from the Lord. Very clear. The highest stage of feelings of a devotee in separation from the Lord. That is our situation. We are in separation from the Lord also. As we've said many times, he's our Bhajan Shiksha Guru. He's demonstrating what he's giving. Rag Mag Bhakti Loke Karite Prajan. Rag Mag Bhakti Loke, to the whole world he's giving this Rag Mag in a mood of separation. How can you have meeting when you're not seeing that? That will come much later, when our Siddhadeha arises. This exhibition was sublime because it was completely perfect in the feelings of separation. Mahaprabhu was perfect in the feelings of separation because he was feeling Radharani's separation moods. And Radharani was there in the Tota Gopinath temple daily to guide and instruct Mahaprabhu. And he'd take that guidance in the evening in the company of Lalita and Vishaka Sakhi, who could nourish that Sakhi Bhav. Gadadha couldn't. We've already discussed this. Gadadha is Radha directly. She can't nourish the mood. She is already Radha. So she can't nourish that mood in Mahaprabhu. But Lalita and Vishaka, they can. That's Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda. Sometimes materialistic scholars think he was diseased or crazy. Their problem is that they always engage in material sense gratification and can never understand the feelings of the devotees of the Lord. Prabhupada doesn't let up. He knows who he's speaking to. He's speaking to conditioned souls here, and he's trying to encourage the souls. If you want to really dive into this topic, you have to put the brake on with trying to enjoy the material energy. It's totally the antithesis of the road that we're going on. I mean, categorically it has to be. And of course it can't be just chopped artificially. It's with the higher taste, this arta pravriti, not anarta nivriti, but getting the higher taste, parandrisvara nivartante. It's that higher taste will come. And that higher taste can come by absorption in Sri Harinam. This is very simple for everyone, whatever our situation or circumstances are. We can take to this Harinam if we're not in Sangha, if there's not lots of devotees are around us. We can immerse ourselves in chanting. Chanting Krishna and Radha are directly, and Prem directly is in that Hare Krishna. There's Hare, Radha, and there's Krishna, and between them there's Prem. There's 3 Ishtadevs. So we can immerse ourselves in this. Their problem is that they always engage in materialistic sense gratification and can never understand the feelings of the devotees of the Lord. Materialists are most abominable in their ideas. They think that they can enjoy directly perceivable gross objects by their senses, and that they can similarly deal with the transcendental features of Lord Chaitanya. Understand what he's saying? We're trying to enjoy with our material senses the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We can't. We should be inspired to our practice so that we can at least understand these pastimes. But to try and enjoy them as a materialist is going to lead to great confusion in the consciousness. And Prabhupada is going to describe what is that confusion. But the Lord is understood only in pursuance of the principles laid down by the Goswamis. The Goswamis' lives themselves were absolutely exemplary. Mahaprabhu would love to hear the descriptions of Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis in Vrindavan, how they were practically immersed fully 23.5 hours a day, and even in their dreams they would be dreaming of seva to Radha and Krishna. There was never any distraction whatsoever. Of course, these are Nityasiddha personalities, but still the noble example that they are demonstrating should inspire the sadhak to at least attempt to come up to this platform, not in an artificial way, because otherwise we can break the spirit, but in a clear-headed way, to understand, to put the brake on trying to enjoy matter, because that will obviously reinforce the identification of myself as matter. And we've discussed many times that we are spirit soul, and we have this acquired nature called nishag, to think and identify with the body. So this can be purified to a great degree by contemplating the pure transcendental topics themselves. This will take us out of this world. When we read this Caitanya Caritamrta, when we contemplate it, think about it, hear about it, it takes us automatically out of this world. But the Lord is understood only in pursuance of the principles laid down by the Goswamis, headed by Swarup Damodar. Doctrines like those of Nadia Nagaris, this is the hero and the heroine, they don't exist in Mahaprabhu's pastimes. There's no hero or heroine. There's the internal contemplation on the hero and heroine of Radha and Krishna, but there's no overt mood whatsoever. And Mahaprabhu himself is not even engaging in that. I've just tried to explain clearly. How can Krishna have a conjugal relationship with himself? He can't. And if he's in the mood of Radha, how can he have a conjugal relationship with Radha? He can't. It's absurd. It's not the road that he's going. He's going to experience the prem between them. He's going to see, as it's described in the later chapters, he stands at the entrance of the Kunj and he's witnessing the splendor and the astonishing bhavs that are exchanged between Radha and Krishna. He's watching. He's not engaging. Therefore, these Nadia Nagaris, a class of so-called devotees, are never presented by authorized persons like Swarup Damodar or the 6 Goswamis. This is completely a bogus philosophy. The ideas of Gauranga Nagaris are simply a mental concoction, and they are completely on the mental platform. I think, personally, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is writing so brilliantly here. He can't be so explicit because people would just get bombed out by it. But he's describing it very clearly, and he's putting all sorts of hints for us to appreciate as we move along in our progress of understanding these topics. I know myself, in my own comprehension of these topics, I feel by sharing or reading this with everybody on these live streams, I am personally appreciating these topics more than I've ever appreciated them before in my life. I'm not just saying this by rote. I'm getting so much juice just from hearing this and reading it and remembering the instructions of my Gurudev. And this is indicative of its eternal nature. It's constantly moving. It's an ecstatic evolution of consciousness, right? It's not static. Every single day it's moving as we contemplate these topics more significantly and listen carefully to the words that Prabhupada is saying. They're absolutely to perfection. The ideas of the Gauranagaris are simply a mental concoction. They're on the mental platform. They're on the material platform. Mental, material. Sentimental, the senses and mental. It's all on the material. They are completely on the mental platform. Text 108.
Radhikara Baba Yache Udava Darshane Se Baba Mata Prabhu Rahe Ratri Dine.
Translation. Just as Radhika went mad at the sight of Uddhav, so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was obsessed day and night with the madness of separation. Radharani became mad. In the Brahmara Gita, it's described. Actually, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada speaks the whole Brahmara Gita in this Caitanya Caritamrta towards the end here. The entire Brahmara Gita is spoken in Prabhupada's commentary. He's giving us an example of this. Whoever could suggest that Prabhupada wasn't the highest Rupanuga Vaishnava? Who thinks that he was just presenting some Vaidhi Marg path? He's presenting the most esoteric, Rag Marg. But unfortunately, that's not really for the general public. The general public can't comprehend these topics. They just start yawning, get bored, turn the sound off, put the book down, go away, quickly get involved in something mental, something material, because it's demanding spiritual focus. It's demanding curtailing our material activities if we want to understand this. And most people don't want to curtail their material activities because most people don't have the enthusiasm or the greed, this transcendental lobe, to actually enter these pastimes. If we're blessed with higher association, then we will have this lobe and greed. And that lobe and greed is absolutely paramount to move forward. Purport. Those under the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand that his mode of worship of the Supreme Lord Krishna in separation is the real worship of the Lord. The real worship. Mahaprabhu's abject madness, his extreme, he would scratch at the floor with his nails in great separation. He would weep copiously. Tears would fountain out of his eyes in separation. He would hold on to the necks of Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda at night, desperate, hungry. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Only Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda could pacify him with the beautiful songs of Gita Govinda, or the beautiful songs of Vidyapati, or Chandidas, these beautiful songs, or from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Ramananda Roy would quote so many verses about Krishna's flute, etc. And this would pacify the heart of Mahaprabhu. but his feelings of separation, this is what was driving him. This is what Prabhupada is sharing here. When the feelings of separation become very intense, one attains the stage of meeting with Krishna. Yes, when these separation meetings reach their pitch, then one actually sees Krishna in his meditation. But Mahaprabhu, when he has visions of Krishna, he is always in a mood of service to Krishna and Radha. It's not a mood of conjugal. Don't ever think that. We are always the servants of Radha and Krishna. Jivara Sarupoi Krishnera Nityadas. That's our constitutional position. And we can be in conjugal, serving Sri Radhika in her conjugal moods. But we're always serving. We're always the servants. Mahaprabhu is always in that position also, because he's experiencing Radha Bhav. He's never coming into the place where he's enjoying in a conjugal manner. Never, never. If someone doesn't understand or disagrees, they can write to me and ask. They can explain to me. I'd be happy to listen. How can Mahaprabhu enjoy anything conjugal? He's enjoying in a mood of separation. This is what Prabhupada is saying. So-called devotees like the Sahajias cheaply imagine that they are meeting Krishna in Vrindavan. Yes, these devotees who are not in line with Shastra. They're not following closely the principles. Such thinking may be useful. Yes, it may be supportive to some degree, but it won't give out the actual result. But actually meeting Krishna is possible through the attitude of separation taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is our teacher, our everything. And this Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj is opening this understanding out. It's very, very sweet to appreciate. Text 109.
Ratre palapakare swarupera kamtadari avesh apanar bhava kaya ugadadi.
Translation. At night he talked incoherently in grief, in separation. With his arms around Swarup Damodar's neck, he spoke out his heart in ecstatic inspiration, his heart filled with separation moods. Text 110.
Yabaye bhava ute prabhuram tara se gita shloke sukha tena damodara.
Whenever a particular sentiment arose in his heart, Swarup Damodar satisfied him by singing songs or reciting verses of the same nature. This is Lalita Sakhi, pacifying Radha. Text 111.
Ebe karya nahi kiche se e sabha vichare age iha viraribi karya vistare.
To analyze these pastimes is not necessary now. Later I shall describe them in detail. Yes, in the Antya Lila, he's going to actually give us expressive, clear visions and examples of what manifests. Now he's laying the foundation for our practice and contemplation. And later on he'll gift us with explicit visions and descriptions of Mahaprabhu's tasting fully this Mohan and Modan, Akya Mahabharata. Text 112.
Purve brache krishnara trivida vayo dharma komar bhaugandha ara kaishara atimarma.
Translation. Formerly in Braj, Lord Krishna displayed 3 ages, namely childhood, boyhood, and adolescence. His adolescence is especially significant. Text 113.
Vatsyala avesha kaile komara safale bhaugandha safale kaya lana sukhavala.
Translation. Parental affection made his childhood fruitful. His boyhood was successful with his friends. These are beautifully described in the 10th canto. Text 114.
Radhika dilana kaile rasadi vilas vanshabhari asvagila rasare niryas.
Translation. In youth, he tasted the essence of ras, fulfilling his desires in pastimes like the ras dance, with Srimati Radhika and the other gopis. Krishnadas Kaviraj is giving us a preview of the Srimad Bhagavatam's description so we can get the background, the story to where Mahaprabhu is entering this Braja Ras, this Braja Prem. So he's opening this description out at this point.
Kaishora vaya sakarma jagata sakale Adi-lila tina korila safale.
In his youth, Lord Krishna made all three of his ages and the entire universe successful by his pastimes of amorous love, like the rasa dance. Yes, the rasa dance is the quintessence, the crest jewel of all his pastimes. Text 116.
So pipi kaishora kavayo manayam madhusudana remeshri ratnakata sta shapashu shapitatitha.
Translation. Lord Madhusudan enjoyed his youth with pastimes on autumn nights in the midst of the jewel-like milkmaids. Thus he dispelled all the misfortune of the worlds. Purport. This is a verse from the Vishnu Purana. Text 117.
Vacha suchita savari ratikala pragalbaya radikam vrida kunchita lochanam virachayan agre sikinam asho tadvaksho rahu chitta kali makari panditya param gataha kaishoram safali karoti kalyan kunje viharam hari.
Translation. Lord Krishna made Srimati Radharani close her eyes in shame before her friends by his words, relating their amorous activities on the previous night. Then he showed the highest limit of cleverness in drawing pictures of dolphins in various playful sports on her breasts. In this way, Lord Hari made his youth successful by performing pastimes in the bushes with Sri Radha and her friends. Hearing these pastimes from Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, one is impelled to drop all sensual ideas or mental thoughts if one wants to actually appreciate the transcendental nature of this. This is directly telling us, up your grade, come out of that lower mode, because it's so sweet what Krishna, how he performs his pastimes with Sri Radhika. Purport. This is a verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.1-231 of Srila Rupa Goswami. Text 118.
Hare esha nached avat aris isyan maturyam madurikshi radhikacha abhavisyad yam vrita vristari makaram kas tu vishesh satas tadatra.
Translation. O Purnamasi, if Lord Hari had not descended in Mathura with Srimati Radharani, the entire creation, and especially Cupid, the demigod of love, would have been useless. So beautiful verse. Let me read it again. O Purnamasi, if Lord Hari had not descended in Mathura with Srimati Radharani, this entire creation, and especially Cupid, which means amorous loves, the demigod of love, would have been useless without the example of Radha and Krishna's pure transcendental activities. This verse is spoken by Sri Vrindadevi in the Vidagdha Madhav by Srila Rupa Goswami. Text 119-120.
E mata purve Krishna rasa sadan yadyapi karila rasa niryase karvan tatapi nahila tina vanchita puran taha ashritite yadi karila yatan.
Translation. Even though Lord Krishna, the abode of all mellows, had previously in this way chewed the essence of the mellows of love, still he was unable to fulfill 3 desires, although he made efforts to taste them. How incredible. Krishna enjoyed so much lila in Vrindavan, yet there was something missing. These 3 desires that we're going to just mention right now. And this is in the 6th verse, at the beginning of this epic treatise by Krishnadas Kaviraj. Text 121. So he's already enjoyed so much, but there's something more, which is phenomenal. And that more is embodied in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is the quintessence, the highest of the highest. 121. And he's giving it to the lowest of the lowest in this dark age of Kali.
Tanhere pratame vanche koria vakyane Krishna kahe ami hai rasara nidane.
Translation. I shall explain his first desire. Yes, these are the 3 desires. Shri Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritya Hadini Shakti. No. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanaiva. Swadyenat Buddha Madhurima Kidrisho Vamadiya. Sokyam Kasyam Mad Anubhavita Kidrisham Vedirobat Tad Bhavadya Samajini Sachigarbo Sindhu Rindu. If you look at that document about the reasons for Mahaprabhu's descent, if Rasamanjari would like to post that also, because there it's describing these qualities, or these 7, I think there are, 7 distinct bullet points in that document, which are going to be clearly spoken right now. I shall first explain his first desire. Krishna says, I am the primary cause of all rasas. Text 122.
Puranandamai ame chinmaya punatattva radhikara prema ama karaya unmata.
Translation. I am the full spiritual truth and I am made of full joy, Krishna himself. But the love of Srimati Radharani drives me mad. This is the first. Text 123. Na jani radhara prema ache katabala ye bale amara kare sarvada vivarla. Translation. I do not know the strength of Radha's love, with which she always overwhelms me. This is her mahima. This is the first part. What is the mahima? Mahima means greatness. What is the greatness of Radhika's love? This greatness of Radhika's love is what Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is describing here. And in that document on Mahaprabhu's 4 reasons, they're enumerated straight from here, from this chapter, this part of the chapter. Text 124.
Radhikara prema guru ame shishya mata nata sada ama nana nritya nischaya udbata.
The love of Radhika is my teacher, and I am her dancing pupil. Her prem makes me dance various novel dances. Text 125.
Kasmad vrinde priya saki hare pada mulat kutoso kundaranya kim iha kurate nritya shiksham guruka tam tvam murti prati taralatam dik vidikshu spuranti Shaila Shiva Brahmati Parito Naratayanti Swa Praschat.
Translation. O my beloved friend Brinda, where are you coming from? I am coming from the feet of Sri Hari. Oh, where is he? In the forest on the bank of Radhakund. What is he doing there? He is learning dancing. Oh, who is his master? Your image, Radha, revealing itself in every tree and creeper in every direction, is roaming like a skillful dancer, making him dance behind. Purport. This text is from Sri Govinda Lilamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So my Gurudev describes how does a teacher teach his pupil to dance? They hold a stick, which has some fear. There must be some fear under the master. Otherwise, the student won't act to his optimal potential. And what is that stick that Sri Radhika is holding? Her man. Krishna is afraid of her man. Therefore, he's dancing very carefully to her instructions. Text 126.
Nija prema swade more hoya ye alad taha hate koti guna radha purnavad premavad.
Translation. Whatever pleasure I get from tasting my love for Srimati Radharani, she tastes 10 million times more than me by her love. The love of the Ashraya, her love for Krishna, is 10 million times greater than Krishna's. This is why he's appeared as Mahaprabhu. Now we're getting to the essence of the essence of the essence of the reason, the confidential reason why he's appeared.
Amayache paraspara viruddha dharmashraya radha prem tyache sada viruddha dharmamaya.
Just as I am the abode of all mutual, contradictory characteristics, so Radha's love is always full of similar contradictions. It's one way, then the other way. We have this prema vivart. Jagadananda Pandit, he wrote. Prema vivart means the contrary nature of love. If Krishna says to Radhika, "Oh, I love you," immediately Radhika's thinking, "What did I do wrong?" If Radhika says this to Krishna, Krishna certainly thinks, "What did I do wrong?" If Radha chastises Krishna, Krishna feels very happy. Krishna feels, now I'm successful. It's contradictory. We can't understand it materially. Don't try. Just try to hear it, absorb it, and meditate on it when you chant.
Radha prem vibhuyara pandite nahi tana tani tatapi se shane shane badaya sadayin.
Translation. Radha's love is all-pervading, leaving no room for expansion, but still it expands constantly. How contradictory is that? It has no room for expansion, and yet it's expanding constantly. That is an example of complete contradiction. It has no more room for expansion, and yet it's expanding constantly. This is completely contradictory. Text 129.
Yaha vai guru rasta nahi sunischiti chita tatapi guru dharma gaurava varijita.
There is certainly nothing greater than her love, but her love is devoid of pride. That is the sign of its greatness. I love this particular point. Someone who is truly, truly great is actually completely devoid of any pride. They don't have to be proud. They're already great. Pride is like an indulgence. They're already fully satisfied in whatever activity is causing their greatness. There's no need for this debased mood of pride. It doesn't have to come in. Yet, in the transcendental reality, this pride is constantly being pricked and being utilized in service, because this pride is a natural quality, even within the spiritual world, but it's not an arrogant pride. It's not like a material pride. It's a pride to please Krishna. The pride of Lalita Sakhi, for example, when she becomes enormously, apparently angry when Krishna inappropriately touches Radha at the beginning of their pastimes at Kusum Sarovar. She'll furiously berate Krishna in an arrogant mood, and Krishna will love that. Krishna will feel, yes, this is real. These pastimes are real. If that wasn't going on, there wouldn't be that power, that potency there. These emotions that are manifesting are nothing sentimental whatsoever. They're all so powerfully concrete. Text 130.
Yahe hoite sunirmala dvita nahi ara tatapi survada vamya vakra vivyahara.
Translation. Nothing is purer than her love, but its behavior is always perverse and crooked. Yes, their love is always perverse and crooked. It's not straight. we see Shamakund is very, very crooked. Radhakund is very straight. Radha is actually more straight, but Krishna is definitely crooked. He's always cheating. But Radhika is a greater cheater ultimately. Text 131. Vibhur api kalyan sada vivuradam dim gora api gaurava charya vidina moho apicha vakrimapi sudha jayati mura dvishi radhikan raga. All glories to Radha's love for Krishna, the enemy of the demon Mora. Although it is all-pervading, it tends to increase at every moment. Although it is important, it is devoid of pride. And although it is pure, it is always beset with duplicity. So how is so much contradiction is there? This person, the enemy of Mura to begin with. And then it's all-pervading, and yet it increases at every moment. Then it's important, but it's devoid of pride. And although it's pure, it's beset with duplicity. This is real love. This is transcendental love. Purport. This is a verse from Dan Keli Komod by Srila Rupa Goswami. Text 132. Se premara Shri Radhika Parama Ashraya Se premar Ami Haya Kevala Vishaya. Translation. Sri Radhika is the highest abode of that love, and I am its only object. Text 133. Vishaya Jatiya Shuka Amara Asvad Amahoite Koti Guna Ashrayera Alad. Translation. I taste the bliss to which the object of love is entitled. But the pleasure of Radha, the abode of that love, is 10 million times greater. My mind, Ashraya Jatiya Shuka Paite Mana Daya Yatne Ashvadite Nara Ki Kari Upaya. My mind races to taste the pleasure experiences by the abode, but I cannot taste it, even by my best efforts. How may I taste it? I think I'm going to stop here. We continue on Thursday. This section goes quite a bit more, but this is taking us into the most confidential heart of why Mahaprabhu has appeared. This is so confidential and internal and beautiful and explicit. It's built up from appreciating Guru, from appreciating Krishna in the second chapter, the external reasons. And in this fourth chapter, we've come through the energies of Radhika. And now we've come into the actual qualities of Radhika. And now we've come into their prem consideration. Very, very special. Very special. So let us continue patiently on Thursday. Not tomorrow, but Thursday. So, as I said previously, to encourage you all to read these verses and texts and purports, especially by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, yourselves. For the rest of our lives, he's given us this. This is considered like the PhD. We have Bhagavad Gita initially, then we have Srimad Bhagavatam, and the culmination is this Caitanya Caritamrta, to relish as we become further advanced in our devotional practices, appreciations, and realizations. This Caitanya Caritamrta will make more and more and more sublime sense. I'm personally experiencing this phenomenal appreciation for Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's purpose. Very clear, without any doubt, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I had read this previously, but until I heard from my Gurudev in 1994 in Australia explaining these things, I didn't have the first idea of who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. But then hearing from a self-realized soul, my Gurudev, about these topics, and then going forward with that understanding from him, now I'm getting a little more understanding by his mercy. So association is vital on this path. Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, O Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, O Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya, Patitanam Pavnibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.